It was raining so hard, I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me. Then my wipers just stopped. And in that split second of stillness, between one heartbeat and the next, I saw them. 2 glowing eyes, staring at me through the glass, unblinking, too high to be human. I was alone on that road. At least I thought I was. I was heading home from a late shift at the nursing home. Pouring rain, the kind that drowns your headlights and makes the road look like it's melting. Wipers on full blast, phone dead. Back roads because the main highway was flooded out. Bad call. But I just wanted to get home. I'd taken this road a dozen times. Wooded, empty, the occasional deer. But tonight felt different. Halfway down County Road 43, they gave out. Scree, click. Dead. I smacked the lever. Nothing. Rain smothered the windshield. Visibility gone. Just a blur of red taillights behind me and white lines vanishing ahead. I slowed down, leaned forward, could barely make out the curve in the road. Then, through the streaks, I saw something. Eyes. 2 pale yellowish orbs, reflected in the glass like headlights, but higher, at least 8 feet off the ground. They didn't move, just hovered there, watching me. I blinked. They vanished. Gone, like they were never there. I hit the brakes. The car skidded, hydroplaned slightly, came to a stop sideways. I sat there, heart hammering, listening to the rain pound on the roof. Then the smell hit me. Wet soil, musk, decay, like something had just crawled out of the earth. Tap, right behind my head, on the window. I jumped, spun around. Nothing there. Then tap, 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 on the windshield. From the outside, middle of the glass, like long fingers pressing down. I flicked on the high beams and saw nothing. But the smudge remained. 3 long streaks, like someone dragged their hand down the glass. I reached for my phone. Still dead. Of course. That's when the dome light passenger door had opened. Except I hadn't touched it, and no one else was around. But when I looked over, the seat was wet, like someone had been sitting there, rainwater, fresh, pooled in the creases. I didn't move, barely breathed. Then I heard it, breathing, shallow, labored from the back seat. I whipped around. Nothing. The back seat was empty. Then a whisper, right next to my ear. "You saw me." My blood froze. I bolted out of the car and into the rain, slipped, hit the mud, scrambled to my feet and backed away, watching the car. Nothing moved inside. I stood there, soaked for what felt like hours. Eventually, I climbed back in, locked every door, turned the key. The engine sputtered, died. One more time, it started. I floored it. A few miles later, I saw a cabin with its porch light on. No driveway, just a path through the mud. I pulled over, hoped someone inside could help, or at least had a landline. I got out, still shaking, and ran through the rain. Knocked on the door. No answer. I turned to leave, and then I saw the car. My car. Still idling, headlights on. But the driver's seat? Occupied. Someone sitting there. Long. Pale. Smiling. At me. The cabin door creaked open behind me, on its own. I turned back. The light inside flickered. I stepped in. It was empty. Dusty. Smelled like rot and rainwater. There was a table in the center. On it, old Polaroids. Dozens. I picked one up. My car, parked on a flooded road. Inside, someone in the driver's seat. Another photo, me in the nursing home parking lot, and another, me in the car, just minutes ago, taken from behind. I was being watched. A photo fluttered to the floor. On the back, written in shaky handwriting. "You looked. Now it follows." My breath caught in my throat. Something moved behind me, a shadow. I ran, out the door, towards the car, still running, still lit up, still occupied. I stopped at the driver's side window, empty, seat dry, like nothing had happened. I got in, turned the key, drove, didn't look in the mirrors, didn't breathe until I saw my driveway. When I got home, everything seemed normal. I showered, threw my clothes in the trash, tried to sleep. I couldn't. Not after what I saw on my windshield the next morning. 3 long streaks from the inside. I took the bus to work after that. No more night drives, no more back roads. I tried to forget it, until this morning I got a package, no return address, inside, a photo. Me, sleeping, taken from outside my bedroom window and written on the back. "You saw me again. Don't look too long into the dark, because sometimes something looks back." She was barefoot, soaking wet, shivering. It was 2:13 in the morning during the worst thunderstorm I'd seen in years. She begged me to let her in, said someone was chasing her. So I did. Biggest mistake of my life. Thump, thump, thump. The knock rattled my front door like gunfire. I live alone. Quiet street. The kind of place where nothing ever happens. Especially not during a thunderstorm like this one. I checked the peephole. A woman stood there, early 20s. Long dark hair plastered to her face. Drenched, barefoot. No bag. No phone. Just her, soaked and staring at my door like her life depended on it. I cracked the door open. "Are you okay?" Her voice trembled. "Please, someone's following me. I crashed my car. I ran through the woods. Please, can I come in?" Rain pounded behind her. Wind howled. I hesitated. But fear does something to people. It's contagious. I let her in. She stood just inside the doorway, dripping onto my floor. I offered a towel and a hoodie. She wrapped them around herself, shaking. "What happened?" I asked. She looked down. "I don't know. I think I was being followed on the highway. I pulled off, got turned around. Next thing I know, I'm off the road. I ran through the woods for miles. I saw your porch light." I made tea, turned on the heat. The whole time she kept glancing toward the window. "Did you call the police?" I asked. She froze. I lost my phone." That's when something felt wrong. Her hands were scratched, dirty. Her bare feet were red from the cold. But she didn't look panicked anymore. Not exactly. Just observant, like she was studying me. She sat on my couch, staring at the window. "You're safe now," I said. "Whoever was chasing you, they're long gone." She looked at me, finally smiled. But there was no warmth in it. Then she asked a strange question. "Do you always leave your upstairs light on?" I blinked. I didn't. She stood. "It's on now." I turned to look. The hallway light, second floor, was glowing. I never turned it on. I grabbed the fireplace poker and crept upstairs. Checked every room. Nothing. No one. Just the faint scent of wet earth and mud on the floorboards. When I came back down, she was gone. The front door was wide open. Rain pounded the porch. Wind whipped through the doorway. I ran outside, barefoot. "Hey!" I shouted. No answer. I scanned the yard, the street. Nothing. Then I saw it. Footprints. Small, bare, leading from my porch around the back of the house. I followed them. They stopped at the tree line behind my yard. There, in the mud, were more prints. Larger ones. Boots. They circled hers, then vanished into the woods. A chill ran down my spine. I turned back toward the house and saw my living room light flick off. I bolted through the back door and grabbed my phone. No signal. My phone had went into SOS mode. The landline was dead too. The house was dark now, every light off, except one. The basement. A soft yellow glow spilled from the cracked basement door. I never go down there. It's just storage. I gripped the poker and opened the door. Step by step, I descended into the dark. It was quiet. Too quiet. No hum of appliances. Just the drip of water from the ceiling. At the bottom, I saw her, the girl, standing with her back to me in the middle of the room. Still soaked, still barefoot. She turned slowly, eyes wide, but not afraid. "You shouldn't have come down here," she said. Then the lights cut out. Pitch black. I heard breathing, but it wasn't hers. It was deep, raspy close. I swung wildly. Nothing. Then something whispered, "Wrong one." I bolted back up the stairs and slammed the door shut. An hour later, the storm eased up. My signal came back. I called the police. They searched the house, the woods. Nothing. No girl. No muddy footprints. No sign of anyone. I asked them to check the traffic cams. My road, the woods behind it. The officer nodded slowly. "You said she crashed her car?" I nodded. "There hasn't been a crash reported all night." I asked if she was lying. He hesitated. "We've had a few calls like this before. Girls showing up soaked, barefoot, disappearing again." I asked, "What do you mean, girls?" He looked at me and said, "Same description every time, but always just before someone else in the area goes missing." The police left just after dawn. I didn't sleep. Around 7 a.m., I noticed something in my mailbox. No envelope, just a photo. Black and white. Old. It was a photo of a girl, soaked, barefoot, standing on a different porch, but the same expression, same face. Written in red marker on the back, "You let her in." I started digging. Found an article from 1996. A girl named Rachel Marks, 23. Went missing after her car broke down during a thunderstorm. Witnesses said she knocked on a stranger's door, asking for help. The homeowner let her in. Was never seen again either. I found more cases. Dozens. Same storm patterns. Same neighborhood radius. Same girl, same outcome. The thing is, the girl always shows up just before someone else disappears. And that morning, after the cops left, I found muddy footprints in my upstairs hallway, leading toward my bedroom. I didn't hear her leave, I didn't see her go, and I don't know who she's coming for next. One last thing. The photo? I flipped it over again hours later. It had changed. This time there were two people in it, the girl and me, standing behind her, smiling. If someone knocks during a storm, don't open the door, especially if they're barefoot. He was soaked, standing on the side of the road, arms flailing out, staring straight ahead. We pulled over to let him in, just trying to be nice. But 5 minutes later, he said something I'll never forget. Whatever you do, don't turn around. It was pouring. One of those late summer storms that turns the world pitch black and makes every tree look like a person. We were heading home from a concert 2 towns over. Me, my brother Dylan, and our friend Marcus. Rural back roads, no streetlights, wipers struggling to keep up. That's when we saw him. Standing by the guardrail, soaked. Still, staring at nothing. A backpack at his feet. Just standing there. Dylan slowed down. "Dude," I said, "what are you doing?" "He's probably freezing," Dylan said. "We've got room." Marcus from the back seat. "Hell no." But it was too late. We pulled up beside him. Dylan rolled the window down halfway. "Need a ride?" The guy didn't answer at first. Then he nodded once and opened the back door. He didn't ask where we were going. Didn't say thanks. He just sat in the back seat, drenched clothes squishing into the upholstery, and stared forward. His face was long, hollow, pale, like he hadn't seen sun in weeks. We drove in silence. 5 minutes later, he spoke. "Don't turn around." We froze. "What?" Dylan asked. The hitchhiker didn't blink. "Whatever you do, don't turn around." I looked at Dylan. He glanced at the rearview mirror. "Why not?" The man didn't answer. Marcus, still behind me, whispered, "Bro, I've been behind him this whole time. There's no one back here but me and this dude." But then he added, "Right?" The hitchhiker finally moved, slowly turned his head, just enough to face Marcus. I said, "Don't." That's when the car started to smell, like mildew, copper and wet dirt, like something had been rotting under the seats for days. I covered my nose. Dylan cracked a window, and then we all heard it. Breathing, slow, heavy, coming from behind the hitchhiker, but the back seat was full, unless something was between the seats. Marcus looked down, froze. "There's something under my legs." He reached under his seat, pulled out something small and cold, a bracelet. It looked handmade, twine and beads, old, dirty. The hitchhiker took it from Marcus's hand. "I told you not to touch anything." His voice was flat. Deadpan. Dylan tried to lighten the mood. "You sure you're all right, man? Want us to drop you off somewhere?" The hitchhiker turned his head to face forward again. "You already did." Dylan's knuckles turned white on the wheel. I checked my phone. No signal. Marcus leaned forward. "Man, we need to let him out. This dude's off." And that's when the hitchhiker said something that chilled me to the bone. "Don't stop until you see her." We didn't respond. He continued. "She's wearing white. She'll be by the tree, then you can stop." I looked at Dylan. His mouth was open slightly. He was starting to sweat. "We're almost home," I said. "Let's just keep driving." 10 minutes later, she was there, standing on the side of the road, just like he said, wearing white, soaked from the rain, her hair hanging over her face, unmoving, just standing. "Is this a joke?" Marcus whispered. "What the hell is going on?" The hitchhiker sat up straight. "This is where I get out." Dylan slowed the car, almost in a trance. "No," I said. "No, keep driving. This is messed up." Dylan hit the brakes. The car stopped beside the woman. We stared at her. She didn't move. Didn't flinch. The hitchhiker opened the door and said one final thing. "Don't follow. Don't wait. Don't look back." Then he stepped out into the rain. The woman turned toward him. Her face looked just like Marcus's little sister. Emily, but older, decayed. Marcus screamed, That's not possible." But Dylan hit the gas. We drove the rest of the way in silence. Didn't speak. Didn't look back. When we pulled into my driveway, it was 3:07 a.m. Exactly 54 minutes after we picked him up. We sat in the car for a while, trying to breathe. Then Marcus said, "Check the seat." We looked. The back seat was dry, bone dry, no mud, no puddle, no sign anyone had been sitting there at all. Except the bracelet, still on the floor. 3 days later, Marcus's sister went missing. Emily. She was supposed to be driving home from college, never arrived. Police found her car pulled off to the side of a rural road 2 towns over. Driver's side door open. No sign of struggle. Just a bracelet. Twine and beads. Same one. I've gone over that night 1,000 times. I can't explain it. None of us can. But I keep wondering, what would have happened if we'd turned around? If we'd looked behind the hitchhiker? If we'd followed him into the woods? The bracelet sits on my desk now. Sometimes it moves, shifts, tightens, like something's pulling it closed. And every time it rains, I hear a voice in the back seat. "Don't turn around." The engine was still running, hazard lights blinking, driver's door wide open, but no one inside. We thought maybe someone needed help. We were dead wrong. That car wasn't broken down. It was bait. The storm came out of nowhere. We were driving back from a weekend trip. Me, my girlfriend Hannah, and our friend Troy. The highway was flooded. GPS rerouted us down some back road. Winding, dark, lined with trees that clawed at the windshield. No lights, no signs, just rain and shadows. It was supposed to save us 30 minutes. It almost cost us everything. Around the bend, we saw it. A black sedan idling in the middle of the road. Hazard lights blinking, driver's side door wide open. No movement. Rain poured so hard it looked like static. We pulled up behind it slowly. "Someone might be hurt," Hannah said. "I don't see anyone," Troy added, peering through the misted glass. The car's interior lights were on, but the driver's seat was empty. I put the car in park. "I'll check it out." Hannah grabbed my arm. "Be careful." I stepped into the rain, shoes sinking into the mud. As I got closer, I noticed the engine was still running. The windshield wipers were frozen mid-swipe, and the radio was playing static. I looked inside. No driver, no keys in the ignition or a fob. Just a phone on the passenger seat, with the camera open. Still recording. Something moved in the trees. I turned. Nothing but rain and shadows. That's when I saw them. Footprints, barefoot, leading from the car into the woods. They didn't make sense. The ground was soaked, but the prints were dry, like whatever left them wasn't really touching the ground. I backed away slowly. Then Troy shouted from our car, "Dude, look at your door!" Back at our car, taped to the passenger side window, was a note, written in red ink. "Thanks for stopping. None of us saw who put it there." Troy locked the doors. Hannah was already crying. I got in and floored it. We passed the abandoned car again. But this time, the interior lights were off. I didn't realize I had taken the phone until we were a mile down the road. It was in my pocket, unlocked, no passcode, only one video in the gallery, titled "Look Back." I played it. The footage was inside the sedan, rain hitting the roof. The driver, mid-30s, wide eyes, breathing heavily. He kept glancing at the rear-view mirror. Then he whispered, "It gets closer when you don't look." He turned the camera to the back seat. Empty. He looked again. Still empty. Then he smiled. But it wasn't right. His lips were smiling, his eyes weren't. The screen went black. We finally hit pavement again. Signal returned. Malik called 911, gave them the coordinates, reported the car. The dispatcher's response? Another one? "What do you mean?" Troy asked. The voice on the line hesitated. Then, "Leave the area. Don't stop again." Click. The call dropped. Not 10 minutes later, we saw it. A small cabin on the side of the road with the porch light on. Generator humming. We didn't plan to stop, but the car suddenly died. Just shut off, no warning, no sputtering, just dead silence. Rain still hammering the roof. Troy turned the key. Nothing. Lights off. Dashboard dark. Then my phone buzzed. "Thanks for the ride." from an unknown number with no message history. Attached was a live photo of us in the car, taken from outside the driver's side window. We bolted for the cabin. Door was unlocked, empty inside, except for one thing. A wall covered in Polaroids. Dozens, maybe hundreds, all of different cars, all parked in the same spot. Hazard lights blinking, different people, different times, but always the same car, same pose. And one detail chilled me to the bone. In the background of every photo, there was something standing in the trees, tall, thin, blurred, watching. There was a laptop on the table, open, battery low, a folder titled, "Do Not Open." I clicked it. Inside, one file. No title. I hit play. Footage from a dash cam. The same black sedan. Same road. Same storm. But this time, it captured something new. The driver stopped, looked back, and whispered. I thought I could escape it, but it waits for curiosity. The camera shook. Something stepped into view behind him. Too tall, limbs too long. It leaned down toward the lens and said, "See you soon." The police found the sedan still running. Driver's seat empty, no sign of struggle. But here's what they did find. The phone. Still recording, and in the final frame was our car, driving away, with all three of us inside, and just behind us, a shape, long, pale, leaning in close, right up to the back window. If you see a car stopped in the rain, still running, no one inside, don't help, don't check, don't even look, because if you do, it knows you now. And it always follows curiosity.